Hi everyone, my name is Félicia Vachon. I'm a PhD student at Dalhousie University in Canada, and last year I had the chance to study sperm whales in the Caribbean in partnership with AGOA and CARIMAM, so that's why I'm here today, to discuss all my findings about Eastern Caribbean sperm whale. But first, who is the sperm whale? So even though sperm whales are really large, they're actually more closely related to dolphins than they would be to humpback whales. That's because they have teeth and this very powerful sonar that they use to hunt squid very deep in the ocean. They're an extremely successful species. They live in all of the world's ocean and have the biggest brain on Earth. But what's really fascinating to me about sperm whales is that they have those very complex relationships and very intricate social structure. So let's dive into it. Here you have your sperm whale. But sperm whales are matrilineal, which means that females stay with their moms for their whole entire life, forming family groups. One or two family of sperm whale will be part of what we call a social unit. Now, social unit is the core structure of sperm whale lives. Whales from the same social unit will always be seen together, and they're extremely stable group for over 20 years. So whales within your social unit are whales that you see every day and you interact with every day. Now, one or two social units will sometimes associate to form groups. And groups are kind of like your family friends. You hang out with them, you socialize with them, you eat with them, but you're not always with them, even though they're close friends. Now, within one area at one time, you'll have multiple social units and groups of sperm whales that will be part of the same vocal clan. Now, that's where it gets interesting. Vocal clans are believed to be cultural groups of sperm whale. Because whales from different vocal clans have different acoustic repertoire, so they make different sounds, and they don't associate with each other, even though they're in the same environment. So whales from one vocal clan will make a certain type of sound, and whales from another vocal clan will make different types of sound, and they'll refuse to hang out with each other, even though they live in the same environment. So we believe vocal clans to be cultural groups. In the Eastern Caribbean, two vocal clans have been identified. EC1 whales, which make clicks of the pattern click, 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 and EC2 whales, which make clicks of the pattern click, 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 click. So let's listen to them to see if you guys can see the difference. Now, in the background of the files, you'll hear echolocation, which is very regular clicks. But on top of those very regular clicks, let's see if you can pick up those social clicks, which are more rhythmical. So let's start with the 1 + 1 + 3. So there'll be clicks in the pattern click, 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 click. Now whales from the second clan make clicks of the pattern click, 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 click. Now, most of what we know about Caribbean sperm whale comes from a long-term study off of the island of Dominica led by Dr. Shane Guerra. Since 2005, the Dominica Sperm Whale Project has documented the lives of over 25 sperm whale families, and is the reason why we know so much about Eastern Caribbean sperm whale today. However, for my research project, I wanted to mix things up a little bit, and I was interested in the bigger scale of things, how those different vocal clans were distributed around the islands and how their behavior differed on a larger scale. So this is what we did. Aboard our sailing vessel, which you can see on the top right here, we sailed between the island of St. Kitts and Nevis and Grenada. We recorded the sound of the ocean continuously on our hydrophone that we towed behind the boat. Every time we heard the clicks of sperm whales, we would follow the whales for 1 to 2 days using a software on PAMGuard, our computer. When we're with the whales, we record their sounds to know which vocal clans they form, but we also take photographs of their flukes. Because sperm whale flukes are not like our fingerprints. Whales have different shapes of fluke and different marks on their flukes, as you can see on this picture. And based on this, we can recognize individual, which is really interesting to see where individuals are moving across days and across years, and which whales hang out with which whales. But we also take the chance when we're with the whales to record their behavior to see what the whales are doing more generally. And going into this research, we expected to see known Dominica whales around the other islands, because from a sperm whale point of view, those are very small distances. But instead, we found 145 new whales that had never been seen before, making up 23 whole families that we had never encountered. And this suggests that the whales from Dominica are not a good representations of the sperm whales in the entire Lesser Antilles, but instead that the whales seem to hang out more around the same island, which is very interesting. But even more interesting is that in addition to re-encountering whales from the EC1 clan and the EC2 clan, we also found whale being part of a third vocal clan, which we called EC3. And those whales make very weird sound, a 9 regular click sound, where they go click, 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 click. So let's listen to them, and you'll see it's very different. So that was really exciting to us. But also very exciting was that these whales, in addition to having very different social sounds, also seems to have very different distribution in the Caribbean. And that's not very surprising, and it kind of explains why we found all those other whales by moving away from Dominica. So on this map, you can see that the EC1 whales in blue, so this first clan that makes a click, 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 a click sound, are mostly around Dominica, Guadeloupe, and St. Vincent, while the EC2 whales, which make the click, 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 click sound, are mostly around Martinique and St. Lucia. The EC3 whales, which are those new whales that make the very rapid clicks, were found mostly around Martinique, but also a little bit about St. Lucia. So this is very interesting because it suggests that in addition to having different vocal repertoire, whales from different vocal clans also have different distribution, so that their culture doesn't only influence the way that they speak, but also where they live. But even more interesting, it suggests that sperm whales in the Caribbean live on a much smaller scale than do sperm whales in the Pacific. So here on the left, you have a picture of the distribution of vocal clans, those cultural groups, in the Pacific. And what you can see is that while vocal clans in the Caribbean range a few hundreds of kilometers, so they mostly stay around the same one or two islands, vocal clans in the Pacific span thousands of kilometers, so they're much more mobile. So there's a very big difference of scale between Caribbean sperm whale and Pacific sperm whale. So what did we learn through all this? Well, first, we learned that there's more sperm whale than we expected in the Eastern Caribbean, which is a really good news. Second, we discovered a potential third vocal clan, which is very exciting. We also learned that vocal clans have different distribution around the Eastern Caribbean island, which is important for conservation and important for the way that we see those animals. We also learned that there's a very big difference in scale between the Eastern Tropical Pacific whale and the Caribbean whale, so that whales around the world maybe organize their societies differently based on their culture. This highlights the fact that culture matters for conservation, that we need to conserve those vocal clans of sperm whales separately because they have very different ways of life. It also shows the importance of collaboration. If different islands collaborate on their data and share their information about sperm whales, we'll get a much clearer picture than if everybody studies them independently. By expanding our research area above Dominica, we learned so much more about the whales, and this would have not been possible without the island collaborating together. Finally, we also learned that non-invasive research goes a long way. By passively listening to the whales and by taking photographs of their fluke, we gain much more insight into their social lives, and that without even touching them. So I would like to finish this presentation by thanking my collaborators, and that is Dr. Hal Whitehead, Dr. Shane Garrow, and Dr. Luke Rendell on this project, but also all the amazing people that came on the boat to help gather my data. I would like to thank my funding organization, and I'm really excited to discuss those results more with you. Thank you very much.